Welcome to Full Frontal Fatherhood. My name is Julian Redwood, and today I'd like to talk to you about how you can have a baby and still have a sex life. Our sex lives really take a beating when a baby comes along for a lot of really valid reasons. If we don't respond to this, our relationships can really crumble in the face of not having this opportunity to connect with our partners. Sex is our way to play, it's our way to connect, it's our way to love each other. Without it, particularly as men, we don't know a lot of other ways to find the intimacy that we need just to be happy in our lives. We are fed by being close with other beings. Without sex, we need to find how we can still get that closeness. The first thing to do is go and talk to your partner. The reality is the loss of sex life for us can be really impactful as men. We can often feel lonely, rejected, angry, frustrated, and stuck, and worried about whether or not the relationship is even going to survive. If we can go and talk to our partner about what's going on for us, it makes a huge difference. If we have all those thoughts and feelings swirling around on us, but we're not sharing with them with our partner, you end up feeling really separate. Go and ask her how she's doing. How is it for her to not have sex anymore and to not have that kind of closeness? And share with her all the vulnerabilities that are coming up for you. That takes real strength, real courage to do that. To show your weakness actually requires more strength than anything else. The second thing that we have to do, unfortunately, is to lower our bar. The reality is that women often don't want to have sex at all for easily 8 months after the birth. It's intense to have a being come out of your body and then deal with all the hormonal fluctuations that result from that and have a baby that's on you, pulling at you and sucking on you day after day. Sex becomes extremely unappealing, and if they're feeling pressured from us to have sex, it gets more and more unappealing. If we apply that pressure, we ruin their chances of finding their own sex drive, and this often leads to the sexless relationships that you hear about. If, on the other hand, we can remove our pressure and find other ways to connect with our partner, it allows them to find their way back to their sex drive. The third thing you can do is give her space to feel herself as an individual. If she's completely wrapped up in having to provide for the baby, it's really hard for her to find herself and thus her sex desire. You need to get in there and take care of that baby, partly so you can have a chance to really connect and bond and find your power as a father, but also so she can have a break and feel herself as an individual. And that also gives her a chance to see you providing for your child. There's nothing quite as attractive for a woman as seeing as her man provide for her baby in a masterful way. It all leads to her having the chance to feel her own sexual desire again. The fourth thing is we have to take responsibility for the sex life in our relationship. It's often the case that women don't find their own sexual desire in the same way they used to have it for 4 or 5 years after the kid is born. It just takes a while for those hormones to shift and for them to not have a kid that's constantly pulling on them. In that meantime, they are capable of being sexual, but it takes us being responsible and supporting that situation to happen. We can do that by cleaning up the house so there's less pressure on them and they can feel relaxed. Getting an opportunity when the kids aren't around so there is a space for them to not be tracking the kids and thus be able to connect with you. Asking them what they like. What turns them on at this point? What don't they like? And engaging them in this number one conversation about how they're feeling. The fifth thing is to find other ways to connect. Yes, sex is a very effective and efficient way to connect and to play and to feel close and love with our partners. But we can also have it through talking, through staring into each other's eyes. It's amazing what 1 or 3 minutes of just looking into each other's eyes can do. It can bring up all kinds of feelings and allow you to feel really close with your partner. Cuddling, massage, just stroking one another, lying next to one another, sharing our feelings, they all allow us to feel close. And that is a human need. We all have this need to feel close, but there's lots of ways beyond sex to get that need met. The sixth thing to do that can really make the situation go a lot better is to go ahead and have sex with your child in the room or even in your bed. I know that can sound crazy to some people, but the reality is you're just expressing love with your partner. You're just expressing affection. Having your baby there is a completely natural thing that's happened for thousands of years. If we think the child has to be out of the room, it's quite likely that they're going to get upset and interrupt the sex. If you're able to be affectionate with your partner and the child is there, and maybe the child wakes up and falls back asleep, maybe you have to stop sex or not, it allows for a flow that can easily enable you and your partner to have a chance to be intimate in a way that otherwise you may not have that. Sex really is a wonderful way for us to connect with our partner and feel truly close. Without it, it can really devastate our relationship. But if you use these 6 things to maintain your connection with your partner and start to rebuild your sex life, you can make it through this difficult period of being a parent. Take the time to talk to your partner, share your vulnerabilities, and listen to hers. Lower your bar so you're not frustrated and pestering her for sex. Give her the space to find herself as an individual and you to find yourself as a father. Take responsibility for your sex life because it's often quite some time before she feels her own deep motivation. Go ahead and find other ways to connect with your partner outside of sex. And lastly, go ahead and have sex with a kid around because it's actually quite good for everyone. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Full Frontal Fatherhood. I'd love to hear your ideas about this juicy subject. Please join the conversation below, but let's keep it friendly because this stuff's hard and we're all just doing our best. And I'll see you next time for another episode of Full Frontal Fatherhood. Take care.